On our previous episode, we arrived at Bannack State Park in Montana, walking through the ghost town streets, stepping inside old buildings, before visiting the gallows and cemetery. But it's time to break down camp and head out for our next adventure. I'm sad to leave here. I've been sad to leave just about I have been sad to leave every location that I've been to. Everything's been fantastic so far. So hopefully that trend continues, and there's my empty campsite, my truck, patiently waiting to leave. So we should check out our itinerary and then hit the road. Okay, so there's some glare on that, I apologize, but today is July the 28th. Usually I do this on the bed of my truck, but I don't want to disturb my neighbors. They're really close by and nice people, and they're still asleep, I think. So basically today there's not as long of an itinerary because we have like a 5.5 hour drive. So this is one of my big legs of the trip. We're gonna drive to Big Creek Campground, which is a campground of I believe the Flathead National Forest, outside of Glacier National Park, West Glacier, very close to the west entrance, if you're familiar with that. Spending a couple nights here before we actually venture into Glacier. I am camping inside Glacier for a couple nights also to reveal that, but today is really just to go there. But I wanted to maybe stop at Butte, Montana. They have a World Museum of Mining and a big pit mine with a viewing stand that you can see. Really cheap things to do. I'm on a budget, so to say the least. But this World Museum of Mining looks like world class and amazing. The only thing that's disappointing is I don't know if I have time. They have an underground mine tour, which I don't think I'm gonna have time to do, but the surface stuff and the self-guided tour, the $12 as opposed to I think $25 for the underground tour, which would include your general admission, looks fantastic on its own. So we're gonna try to do that, and since I'm heading to Butte, I assume we're gonna have no problem finding a gas station, ice. Check my cooler, I still have ice. It's probably gonna slosh around a bit though. You're gonna hear it when we drive, unfortunately. Maybe not on the smooth road, but anyway, this is our itinerary for today. All right, we got everything ready, got the cameras mounted, and I don't have any crusty stuff on my lips, I don't think. Not the most glorious way to start, no showers, but looking straight ahead at that stream one more time with you. I'm gonna miss it. I never got to fish though. I opted to use all of my spare time to back up clips. Every night, without exception, I've been working and chipping away at backing up all my 4K video footage onto an iPad where it gets staged. And then later I bought a SanDisk 2 terabyte external hard drive that I move entire episodes worth of content on, just as an insurance policy. If I have an SD card go bad, I've never had that happen. I don't have any wood to knock on, unfortunately, but that would be disastrous. You invest all this time and some expense into a trip like this, so I can't take chances. So I do spend maybe an hour or two every day doing that. So yesterday I had some surplus time, so I caught up on a couple of those tasks. Got a lot done, actually. And the camp view drive-thrus are the big thing where I'm really prioritizing backing those up. Because if anything else happened, that's what I don't want to be lost. Anyway, Bannack, it's been awesome, man. This has been one of the best ghost town experiences of my life, if not my favorite to date. So does anybody have a good solution out there, you tent campers, for when you have a soggy night and you got to get up early and your rain fly is soaked and you don't want to, usually what I do with a rain fly is I lay the tent out, like the main tent, and then I'll lay the rain fly on top of it, try to get it all squared off and as flattened as possible. Then I'll like fold the whole thing into thirds and then roll it. I don't want to roll a soaked wet rain fly in with my main tent and then put it into a bag for it to sit for like 6, 7, 8 hours. So my methodology today is just to take it, keep it isolated, and then throw it into the corner of my bed of the truck where it won't touch really anything that matters if it gets wet, just plastic totes. But I don't really have the time to like air it out or hang it up. So any solutions that anybody has that, you know, I mean, the only thing I could think of is all I have are paper towels, and I'd probably waste a roll or two wiping it down to get the excess liquid off. I flipped it like that many times, did the best I could. I don't know, if you have a solution for that, leave me a comment, genuinely, but I'm guessing it's just either you need some time to let it air dry, which I don't have, so the best I could do is just wad it up, keep it isolated and out in the open a little bit in the bed, so maybe it will dry a little bit if we have a hot, warm day here, which we probably will. Also anxious to get some connectivity so I can check in with my wife, Amy. Usually more than once a day, I let her know that I'm doing okay. And I'll always, like at the end, let her know that I've gotten to my destination or I'm about to get there, and let her know in advance for fear of not having connectivity, which I did yesterday, but usually she'll respond, but I lost connectivity before she had a chance. So, you know, I don't like being disconnected for too long in case she needs something, or I don't think she'll worry, but so we'll see how she's doing when I get out by the highway. But beautiful morning out here. You can see the surrounding area around Bannack. A lot different than I kind of thought in some ways. It almost feels, kind of has a Nevada vibe with all the big scrub brush everywhere, or areas of California that I've been to near Butte. Not exactly, but kinda. And I was talking to the girl once again that worked in the visitor center, like a ranger or docent, and I was saying, man, I bet this place is covered in snow like all winter. And she said, no. She's like, you might be surprised, we don't get as much snow here as you might think, was her comment back to that. So, and I'm sure they get snow, but I have some impression that Montana is just covered in snow most of the winter, and there probably are mountains and places where that's true, but it's a lot drier in this area, it seems, and it got warm. Don't kid yourself. Maybe not Phoenix warm, but warm enough. I have lot of driving after Butte, so I may not be filming a lot on that stretch, just capturing different road footage probably, and making a beeline to our campground, which hoping today to actually get to really do some fishing when I get there, because my understanding is my campsite, much like here at Bannack, is right on a river, but unlike it being a little stream like that, it's a pretty big river. So it looks idyllic and amazing. So I can't wait just for that alone, but we'll be chilling today up there if all goes according to plan this afternoon. So this should be a pretty action-packed and relaxing and interesting adventure. I'm at McDonald's. What do I want? All right, there you go. I'm getting a McGriddle. Pack on some calories here. Not that you really needed to see this whole endeavor. I'm excited to eat this, actually. I've been eating kale salad, hard-boiled eggs, stuff like that. Okay. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too. All right, let me get situated and eat this tasty badness. Okay, I ate. We're still driving, got about 38 minutes to get there. 9:28 arrival time now, because I'm driving slow, I realized. It's 80 miles an hour once again. It takes me time to build up to it. Not really paying attention, I just don't feel urgency, but I guess I need to drive 80 if I'm gonna get there exactly on time. Anyway, it's time to take a sip of my McCafe, large and in charge. Smells good. Like I told you, I'm not the biggest fan of the McCafe usually, and some of the gas station coffees that I've been sampling have been quite good. But let's see how the Dillon McDonald's McCafe tastes. It's hot. It's just, I think what it is with McDonald's coffee for me, it just doesn't punch me in the face with flavor. It's not bad, but I'm not like a foo-foo Starbucks kind of guy either. I drink my coffee black, but Starbucks has like a richer flavor, and the Mavericks coffee definitely has a deeper flavor and stronger. So this will do. It's just not, I don't know why, it's just not my favorite, but it's not bad. What do you guys think? Like when you have to be out on the road and your choices are limited in remote places, like, and you have McDonald's maybe, or Maverick gas station, or a different gas station, maybe you've got a favorite. What are your favorite coffees of the road? Road coffee. Everybody's probably got one. There's a town named Glen, I think, that we're about to pass, but it's spelled differently than my name. My name is spelled with 2 N's, Glenn, and this town is Glen. I don't know, I think more people spell my name with 1 N than 2. I don't mind, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't even correct people if they do it. I'm like, okay, I know who you're referring to. But it would be cooler if the town had 2 N's, for sure. All right, I guess unless I see some really beautiful landscapes, which I do, but something even better than what I see, which is pretty cool, I'm gonna conserve SD card space, batteries, blah, 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 and get closer to Butte. I need to shut up and drink my coffee anyway, because I don't like carrying my coffee while I film, because my hands are already pretty full, so it makes it a pain in the butt. So I gotta drink this coffee by the time I get there, and I only got half an hour, and it's hot. So it's one thing about McDonald's coffee is they don't lie when they say contents are hot. Some of the hottest, I think they run it too hot, to be honest, but that's just my opinion. To Butte.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto South Ophir Street.
All right, we're going kind of on a wacky route, I guess. I don't know what Google is doing here, but I feel like we're going in a maze. But we are getting to see the neighborhoods of Butte where the people live. It's pretty cool. I like it, actually. We're looking for the World Museum of Mining. Is the activity I want to do. We're gonna call it the World Museum of Mining, abbreviated probably. Although I'm still like 2 minutes ahead of schedule, so that's perfect. But I don't have like a lot of research done. It's just gonna be a very casual, let's check this place out.
Onto South Ophir Street,
and then we'll see if we like it for the future. Turn left. Oh, there is a left turn here. I was like, there's no left, but there is. I wonder if there's a better way to get there than this.
Turn right onto Steel Street.
I question sometimes when Google does this sort of thing and routes you through all these neighborhoods and stuff.
In 1,000 feet, slide left.
I'm like, where is this mining museum? Ah, I see a big head frame. I wonder if that could be it. I see multiple head frames. This is a big mining town.
Your destination is on the left.
Yeah, I know. I know. All right, we're about to go in and pay our admission, but you can already see this place looks awesome. See lots of cool equipment, and there's an actual mine underground that you can do a tour of, but I don't think we're gonna have time, unfortunately, with my itinerary today, but why don't we get on in there and check this thing out? The underground tour was booked anyway until later when I couldn't be here, so I halfway considered it for a second because I love me a good mine. But let's see, here we go. This is still gonna be cool. Oh wow, kind of has like a theme park feel to it already. It's themed. I don't think these are all like original buildings, is my understanding. It's just kind of a recreation of an older town. I didn't do a ton of research though, so really what the idea here is just to kind of take in the aesthetic, check some stuff out, and I'm gonna start at the saloon, and we're gonna start hard today. Oh yeah, look at this. I wonder if some of this stuff is original stuff. It's all behind glass. It's actually even hard for me to see with the glare. I don't know, it's not gonna work extremely well, but you can kind of see in there, there's like a bar with a bunch of old, looks like antique stuff. Some old Pabst Blue Ribbon pull tab beer. Well, I guess they don't want me in there this morning. They said, Glenn, you gotta drive later, so, you know, they're right. So what else do we have down here in this little mining town? They've constructed here a blacksmith, a barber shop. We can go in, I think we can go into each of them, but they have them partitioned off. But kind of par for the course, you see a bunch of older stuff like this drill. And a bunch of old mining tools and blacksmith tools, tools of the trade. Oh, look at this. That's an old way to do it. I'm just taking it in. You got a hotel. It's no Bannack, but it's cool. Like I said, it feels like almost like in a low-budget amusement park. And not that low budget, and this is pretty cool. And this is the assay office where they would test the material to estimate the value of the stuff being pulled out of the mine. Not a huge fan of the way they've done this. It's hard to see even with your own eyes. There's something around every turn in this place. Look up there. I'm assuming that is a house of ill repute. What do you guys think? As long as that mannequin's head doesn't turn and face us and look me directly in the eye and then scowl. I'm not sure if this is actually going to be open. I see a wicker coffin or casket. Yeah, you can't go in this one either, but an old school, I guess, mining town undertaker's office. Try my best to get you the view in there. It's not easy though. There's an exhibit, it says a superintendent's home, so I wonder if we can actually go in there. I assume the superintendents always are the ones where you go to my old mining towns, get the nice big house, while everybody else is out in the tent. I'm guessing you're not going to be able to go in here either. But, oh, it's beautiful in there actually though. That's wonderful. From what I can see. Kind of a Victorian look to it. Very cozy looking. Alright, I'm gonna find some actual mining stuff. Like the head frame looks awesome. I'm assuming because we're sitting on top of a real mine, an underground mine, that head frame probably is in its original location and was the original one used. So I'm guessing there's a shaft or something over there. So we'll go and see what that's all about. And of course the sauerkraut factory. I mean, come on. How are you not gonna check out the sauerkraut factory? I would totally work in a sauerkraut factory. I think that would be amazing. It would smell so good. Peterson's Sauerkraut Factory. And there's actually a bird up there on top of the birdhouse. I thought it was a fake bird, but it's a real bird. This is interesting. I wonder why the sauerkraut factory. Is this a real thing? I think it actually is. Look at this. What do you know? I thought this was kind of a joke or something, but apparently not. Original Peterson Sauerkraut Factory in Gregson, Montana. So I guess these people were the ones that ran that factory. And there's cabbage that needed to create the sauerkraut. And I guess these people were born in Denmark in 1860. Or Henry was born in Denmark in 1860, and Louis Leffler Peterson was born in Germany. So no wonder they like their sauerkraut. Hopefully that's not like inappropriate to say. But yeah, look at that. It's replica cabbage. You gotta wonder what it would smell like though, working in a sauerkraut production facility. You probably would smell bad at the end of the day. I like sauerkraut though. Oh, it actually goes down pretty far. There's barrels and there's a fur coat of some sort. Interesting. Yeah, just a lot of random interesting things here. I think that was one of my favorite exhibits so far. And old train number 122 presumably would, I guess, haul out ore and other materials out of the facility. I don't know if they did the processing here or just hauled the ore out somewhere else to be processed. And I think my hunch was right. The underground mine tour exhibit, it starts here in this building. You got a head frame right there. So the entrance to the mine is probably covered by this building. I really want to do this mine tour now. I just don't have time. I think that's probably the best thing to do here, and I think everybody in front of me in line was doing the mine tour, buying tickets, and a lot of them are already booked up. So on the website it says you need to reserve it in advance and pay in advance to ensure you can get a tour. I would agree. I would agree because, you know, they only had like one spot left for an 11 a.m. and that was it. But I need to be elsewhere at 11 a.m. It's actually a beautiful head frame and facility. One of the more elaborate ones that I've ever seen. And you know, we've seen a lot. We've seen old wooden ones, like antique ones, some made of metal. But this is the most robust by far, I think, that I've seen. And these ore carts are supersized. I've never seen what I presume is a more modern ore cart, something of that size. So the industrial scale of how they were mining here must have been something. And I mean, this here says it all. I mean, that is the big daddy of head frames that I've ever seen. Look at this cute little guy here. It's like a miniature ore cart bulldozer. I guess it probably would dump, maybe you would dump ore into that bucket and it would flip backwards and fill the container. I'm not sure. We're gonna move around this side, see if we could see better. Oh yeah, you could see ore bins. You know, we've seen a lot of those in our time, kind of empty. So I'm gonna guess it's hauled and dumped into those wooden bins, and then that thing gets pulled in right underneath them and dumped. I don't think this is the underground mine tour. I'm guessing it's a replica mine at it. You could tell they just dumped dirt on top of it, but for people like me that are short on time and can't go on the underground mine tour, this might be your thing that satisfies that sweet tooth a little bit, but it doesn't go back that far. But it does actually remind me a lot of, what was the mine in Bisbee that I toured? Now I can't remember, the Copper Queen mine, is it? It actually was very much like this, if I remember. Like, they had timbers all over like this. And pipes just like this. So, I mean, that mine has age to it, but it was mined probably up until modern times. So it turned into something like this. And they had like motorized trains that would pull you through. And that place was just an immense network. It was crazy. But this reminds me a lot of that Copper Queen mine, the way I just recall seeing a lot of timbering, like whole walls like that and stuff like this. It's very robust. I wonder why, if they do it like this, rather than just carving the rock, I mean, that's gotta be labor intensive. I mean, I'm guessing the surrounding material to warrant doing something like this would be crumbly and, you know, it prone to falling in. That's the only thing I can think of why they wouldn't just bore through rock. But and then this thing here is called a submarine car. That's cool. It's a little tank on wheels, and it says it used to bring water to the working face for drilling in early underground mining. So probably had the hydraulic. There's a hydraulic drill right there. So instead of the old school Mark Twain way of doing it, where you'd have one guy holding like a drill bit while the other one's like taking a big hammer to it and hoping you don't hit the guy's fingers, you know, this would be a step above that, I guess. I'm seeing the rivets in the metal, which makes me think it's from definitely an older time, but they would just use highly pressurized water, I guess, to power these drills instead of making it so manual. And then I guess you could drill holes, probably stick some dynamite in the holes, and then pop. And there's this ore cart filled with ore, so that's probably what it would look like, something like that, unprocessed, that they're pulling out. Says the weight of that is 950 pounds. Imagine that. And imagine something like that back, you know, I guess in the back in the day it was probably all mules. I'm guessing men would also push these things, but you hear about mining accidents where I know of a couple in Tonopah, two brothers that died. One there's a runaway mine cart. He tried to stop it, got in front of it, and I think got run over, and his brother also died, if I remember correctly. And now seeing this and seeing that the thing weighs 950 pounds, I could understand that. I mean, that's dangerous. 950 pounds on wheels. So anyway, this is the cheap knockoff version of the underground mining tour, only on the Cactus Atlas. I'm guessing this is just a quaint little display built on old ore cart wheels. I don't know, or maybe these are really old ones and they did have them made of wood. I always think of metal, but at some point, somewhere, they probably didn't have that, so they probably had little metal, I'm sorry, like wooden ones like this. But there's no sign saying if these are like original or replicas or what. That's interesting. I see something that says underground mine tour there also. I wonder if that's where you end, or I wonder if that is a way to get into the mine, but it's like big enough for vehicles to drive down or something like that. It's curious. I don't know. But seeing that thing next to it that says underground mine tour makes me think that maybe that is an exit point or part of it. Man, I want to go on that. Oh yeah, there's the tour. Oh, I guess they don't have to wear hard hats. I think when we did the Queen Mine tour, I want to say we wore hard hats. I want to say we had to wear like vests or something too, and we had flashlights. So on this one, it looks like it's a little bit more casual. It said Queen Mine, Copper Queen, I think is what I meant. Ooh, and there's a stamp right there. One of the ways they would process ore and crush it. So I think the price to do what I'm doing is fair at $12. I was kind of surprised at first, thinking, oh, it seems kind of cheap. But now that I'm walking around, I mean, the property is not as big as I thought. If you're gonna go read every sign for every little rusty machine around here, you could spend some time for sure. Oh, they're going in. I'm jealous. But I think $12 feels right. And I can see I'm not gonna be here for the amount of time I actually even allocated to do the walk around here on the top. I think it might make sense to finish here. There's another site in town I wanna see. And then 4 hours and 15 minutes, I think, is what remains to get to my campground from here. Now we're getting to my preferred historical time where we don't use gas-powered machines to do the work. We use beast of burden and wagons. I'm guessing, yeah, this is an ore wagon. So before you had like little trains and trolleys to do stuff, this would have been used in the late 1800s, and it hauled up to 3 tons. So all of that rock, like think of that ore bucket. I just think of all that rock piled on in here. And then some poor beast, probably mules, I'm gonna guess, had to pull that. You don't call them beast of burden for nothing. Oh, and there's a little roller coaster here. I don't know the meaning of it, if it's just some cool random thing they put here. I dig it. I'm gonna guess this is a miner's quarter. Oh, you know, maybe dynamite storage. Let's see. Either a miner's house or powder house. I was right. This is something we've also seen examples of in the wild on my journey. Sometimes they're made of concrete, but I've seen many things built into rock, dug in like that, and probably was used to keep the stuff cool. And now we can see the head frame from way over here on this side, a different view of it, but it's a beauty. It's a beauty. I've never seen one quite like that, and it might be because there was other infrastructure like all of those buildings that used to exist and then other things fall down. I don't know. Usually I just see the head frame and like an ore bucket like underneath it, and that's about it. Not like something that elaborate and that big. I would love to see one of these things in operation. I'm guessing you would see some kind of, I don't know if it's the ore carts or what they tow up to dump down and then use gravity, I guess, to feed it into whatever you're gonna transport it away with. But I've never actually seen one of these in use ever. I imagine somewhere today there still are, right? I mean, hard rock mining is, you know, there's pit mining in our modern times and we've seen some big ones, but I'm guessing there's still hard rock mining in places. I should plug our Bisbee video where we do the underground mine tour. That's a fantastic one. You actually sit down in a train, and as they take you through it, there are various stops, and you get to go out and you'll see, they'll talk about the equipment, the methods for what they did. You go into this really big stope. It's almost like a cavern underground. One of the guys was telling me that he used to work in, one of the tour guides was saying he used to work in one, and he was talking about all of the precarious things you had to do in some of those stopes. and how dangerous it actually was, even in our times, maybe the 1970s or something like that. He was telling some crazy stories. So I don't know if today what the safety regulations are, but some of the things the guy was saying, they must not have had as much regulation for safety even in the 1970s, because yeah, there are some scary sounding stories. And as we walk out, we'll talk about a few things, but here's a 1940s portable air compressor. And here's another air compressor, a Type 20 air compressor, which really means nothing to me other than it looks old. See the engine in here. And there's your pressure. Oil pressure, I think. Receiver pressure and intercooler. I don't know if that's just the temperature. I'm gonna check out the stamp. The tour was here earlier, but we'll show you this. We've seen many of these. Some in their original spots, basically. Stamp mill. So basically ore would be fed through the system, and those big things in there would just crunch down on the rock and pulverize it. And I imagine, this is another thing I would love to see in operation, just to hear it. Because I have to imagine it would be loud. You know what, we didn't go down this street yet, so we went down like a different street, so this is perfect. We'll kind of tie off the loop that I started walking through this little replica town. I do like this little town, it's fun. You do have like representations of a lot of common old-time businesses in here. The dentist of the olden days probably was not a good time. I don't think modern dentistry is that fun either, but it's pretty painless, I find. But this is probably a horror show. They probably just gave you whiskey before they started pulling your teeth out. Here's what might be an old schoolhouse. That actually looks old, like Bannack vintage. I wouldn't be surprised if this is an original move to the location here. We got the old wooden tiles on the roof, the shingles. And what do you know, it's open, and there's a lot more to this. You gotta explore every little area. See if I was right that this is a schoolhouse, or if not a schoolhouse, I would say a church. Oh yeah, it's a church, and I was frightened for a second. I was thinking schoolhouse, and then walked in and I thought there was a person in here. These statues here freaked me out. But this is an old church, it would appear. I don't know if it's a replica though. I'm looking for a sign or something that explains if this has any originality or just a replica. The way it's leaning though and stuff, and the way it's constructed, it seems maybe they did move the logs here at the very least and put that, I don't know what you would call this in this style. In modern times I see they put like concrete type material in there, but back in the day I don't know what they would have used. My best guess is maybe this is something original that was moved here. And there you go. There's a sign. So this would have been a Catholic church. The new St. Patrick's at Brown Gulch. And this is from about 1922 when they posted this. So I'm guessing this is the building we're standing in, right? And there's a schoolhouse. We'll peek in the schoolhouse. I'm gonna get my $12 worth. I feel like I'm at $11.30 worth at this point. So we got 70 cents more worth to build. And I saw one more building to go in that will get us to the full $12. But if we add tax, It was more like $12.78 or something like that. Oh, they have this one partitioned off too. Making me think it's probably an original, or there's original stuff they don't want people to mess with. But this very much resembles like the types of schools. Think of Bannack even, like the style of desks we saw in there. The desks we saw in that 1874 schoolhouse at Bannack, I think, were not from the 1800s, but a lot of these buildings get repurposed well beyond the 1800s for people that continue to live in those towns for long times, like probably in the type Bannack, the 1960s, 70s, something like that. So you still need to have schools. Powder car would have been, I guess, the thing they put dynamite in the mines to transport it safely. I wonder if you had a powder car like this and there was a incident and something exploded inside of that. Is that designed to contain the explosion, or would that just send shrapnel everywhere? And has that ever happened? So I saw this. There's like an old, really old school fire department. I'm guessing the Butte Fire Department. That is an antique. Let's see. That is a 35 horsepower, 4-cylinder dual ignition engine. 1911 is the date of this thing. It's really long, like that for even a fire truck. That is long, but you could see the ladders. That's quite impressive, actually. And I'm guessing the driver? No, that couldn't be the driver. That's probably to operate the ladder, if I had to guess. But that is cool. That might be one of my other favorite things here that we've seen on our whirlwind tour. So here's where I guess the driver would sit. Look at that. Imagine getting in a head-on collision, sitting in that, no seat belt, you'd go flying. All right, time for the next stop. Time for us to take a break. We hope you enjoyed the World Museum of Mining as much as we did, but next time, we are definitely taking that underground mine tour. But we will return tomorrow to finish our exploration of Butte, Montana, and finish at the Glacier National Park area. Until tomorrow, friends.